This is a production of SDPB.
Touchdown! This is for a state championship. Oh, drop kick, and it's good!
There's going to be some highlights coming off of this.
The short-range jumper.
Edging out in lane 4, the top seed.
This South Dakota High School State Championship event is conducted under the direction of the South Dakota High School Activities Association.
Welcome to the Summit Arena, inside the monument in Rapid City. It's the site of the 2026 South Dakota High School Class A Boys Basketball Tournament. I'm Craig Maddock, along with Nate Kading. And Nate, 5 of the 8 teams that were here a year ago are back, and there's some experience with some of those squads.
Yeah, no question, Craig. We got a bunch of groups that are no strangers to the state tournament. With that being said, 2 teams kind of separated themselves through that regular season. We're going to see one of them here today, the Sioux Falls Christian Chargers. Only 1 loss all year long. Who was that loss to? The second-seeded West Central Trojans. Could be 2 teams that we'll see Saturday night, but a host of others will be looking to knock those 2 off.
Let's look at the schedule for today here in the quarterfinals. The top seed Chargers and the defending champs take on St. Thomas More. And then we'll have Hamlin and Groton area. And then coming up at 6 o'clock Central, 5 Mountain, it's the other quarterfinal matchups. West Central taking on Cheyenne Eagle Butte. And then Clark Willow Lake against Stanley County. We'll see a couple of schools that have not been here in a while. A lot of excitement with Cheyenne Eagle Butte and with Stanley County coming here to Rapid City. Our first quarterfinal matchup, let's look at the St. Thomas More Cavaliers. It is the 16th appearance for St. Thomas More. First time they've been here since 2022. 4 championships in their history. The last one, got to go back to 2012 when they took out Dakota Valley. Here's what they did in the postseason after going 15-5. Time for the first Dakota Bank starting lineups.
And this group is led by Wyatt Gilton, their leading scorer, averaging 18.3 points a game. He's joined by another tremendous senior, Ashton Paulson, at 12.1 points a game. You can see Slorski, Max Speed, and Broden Sales joining those 2 in the starting lineup. And the Cavaliers are led by first-year head coach Tony Young, taking over from the Hall of Famer, Coach Hollenbeck, who is we'll see later on this evening.
And they'll take on the top seed, the Sioux Falls Christian Chargers. They come in, it's their 15th appearance to the state basketball tournament, but it's the 11th straight year the Chargers have been here. Here's their postseason and the First Dakota National Bank starting lineups.
And this Sioux Falls Christian Charger team, led by one of the best players in the state, will be a treat to watch here. 35, Grant Wassenaar, averaging just under 23 points a game. He's joined in that starting lineup. Cooper Goodberry, another collegiate player going on to Northern State, and then a couple of young folks. Number 2, Cooper Strandy, number 10, Ryan Dielman, and number 24, Carson Nichols. And the Chargers are led by longtime head coach, you can see him right there, Coach Mike Scouten, a true veteran here at the state tournament.
Follow SDPB Sports on your mobile device. Check us out on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram. Make sure you browse all of the action and award photos. All you have to do is search SDPB on Flickr. Read some of the great stories, enjoy the videos which feature the teams, the kids, and the coaches of South Dakota. Let's get ready. Our first quarterfinal game of the day. Let's meet the teams. Here's Scott Jensen.
Good morning, Summit Arena fans at the Monument in Rapid City and everyone watching all over the world on SDPB. It is time for quarterfinal session of the 2026 South Dakota State A Boys Basketball Championships. The South Dakota High School Activities Association, along with its corporate partners, Sanford Health, Dakota Bank, Farmers Union Insurance, Billion Automotive, and the South Dakota Army National Guard are proud to welcome you to this opening session of the State A Boys High School Basketball Tournament. Playing in our first game is the number 8 seed, St. Thomas More Cavaliers, versus the number 1 seed, Sioux Falls Christian Chargers. This tournament is being conducted under the guidance and regulation of the South Dakota High School Activities Association for the enjoyment and benefit of high school students. Good sportsmanship is essential for the success of these programs. We hope you'll enjoy the games and support your athletes in a positive and sportsmanlike manner. And now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, will you please stand as we honor America? The national anthem today will be performed by the Rapid City Central Singers. We would remind all in attendance that the proper respect is to face the flag, remove your hat, and stand at attention with your right hand over your heart. Veterans and active duty military not in uniform may also salute the flag. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Rapid City Central Singers. Ladies and gentlemen, this year in partnership with the South Dakota High School Activities Association, the participating schools of the Boys State A Tournament and the officials of the tournament are proud to introduce the Junior Official Program. We appreciate the willingness of our officials to take part in this initiative and mentor young individuals who have an interest in officiating. This program provides a great opportunity for youth to gain exposure to the officiating profession while learning from experienced officials in a state tournament environment. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to welcome our junior officials for Game 1. They are Quincy Thompson from Sioux Falls Christian and Finley Templeton from St. Thomas More. Your officials for Game 1, the referee is Tanner Jondal. The umpires are Jordan Gow and Brad Coleman. And now let's introduce the cheerleaders for today's first game. The cheerleaders for the St. Thomas More Cavaliers, Gabby Burris, Jovi Evans, Kayla Giacometto, Evelyn Nas, Violet Rausch, Molly Varberg, Laura Weigel, and Corey Ryder. Cheer coaches are Allison Burmeister, Carissa Nas, and Tracy Stamper. And now let's meet the cheerleaders for the Sioux Falls Christian Chargers. Mackenzie Boseman, Isabel Boltzma, Georgia Firth, Olivia Haugen, Grace Henkel, Cadence Miller, Jordan Overman, and JC Schlenker. The cheer coach is Sydney Adrian. And now let's introduce the coaches for both teams. First, the coaches for the St. Thomas More Cavaliers. Assistant coaches are Bill Whitney, Mitch Sluzarski, Scott Donnelly, and Craig Bloom. The head coach for the St. Thomas More Cavaliers is Tony Young. Introducing the coaches for the Sioux Falls Christian Chargers. Assistant coaches are Justin Shepard, Tanner Hilbrands, and Brian Wassener. Head coach for the Sioux Falls Christian Chargers is Mike Scouten. Gentlemen, introducing the Channel Seed alternating starting lineup. First for the St. Thomas More Cavaliers, a 6'4" senior number 10, Wyatt Gilton. For the Chargers at forward, a 6'4" senior number 0, Cooper Goodberry. For the Cavaliers, a 6'3" junior number 20, Barrett Sluzarski. For the Chargers, a guard at 6'1", a sophomore number 2, Cooper Strandy. For the Cavaliers, a senior at 6'4", number 22, Max Speed. For the Chargers, a 6'9" center, sophomore number 10, Ryan Dielman. For the Cavaliers, a 6'4" senior number 23, Broden Sales. For the Chargers, a 6'1" senior guard, number 24, Carson Nichols. And for the Cavaliers, a 6' senior, number 24, Ashton Paulson. And for the Chargers, a 6'4" junior guard, number 35, Brant Wassener.
It is time for Nate's notes. Nate, how about St. Thomas More?
St. Thomas More needs to control the tempo of this basketball game. They do not want this an up and down affair. And secondly, anytime you're playing against the Sioux Falls Christian outfit, you got to have a plan for Brant Wassener, how they're going to handle him, who's matching up. On the other side, Sioux Falls Christian, they're at their best when they're able to create offense with their defense. Live ball turnovers, getting out in transition. They have a size advantage inside with multiple bodies. They want to dominate the boards against this St. Thomas More team.
Officiating his first state tournament, it is Tanner Jondahl, who will tip it up for us today. Dielman and Sales on the jump. These two teams met back on February 14th, and it was not a good start for St. Thomas More. They shot 7% from the three-point arc, 13% from the floor in the first half. They were down 20 at halftime, and you just can't come back like that against Sioux Falls Christian. So that is key for them today. Yeah, shot clock winding down here. You can see Christian just aggressive man-to-man as usual. Paulson has it blocked by Dielman. It's going to have to be a quick catch and release for the Cavaliers. And the Cavaliers are going to get, you see Dielman coming over and help. They're going to get in some longer possessions. You're seeing one right here. Number 35, Wassenaar, their leading scorer. Ooh, hard tumble by Nichols. He's going to go to the line.
You could see those transition opportunities, and there was like a semi-transition situation. But that's where the Chargers are at their best. And on the other side, there's a little bit of mismatch situation, communication issues that no one was checking Carson Nichols underneath the rim.
64% shooter on the season. Second on the club in appearances at the free throw line, which means most likely a lot of drives to the bucket, drawing the fouls. Rebound by Slusarski, and another turnover here by the Cavaliers.
Yeah, the Cavaliers were trying to go quick there with a little sideline break off the free throw, and the ball just sailed right out of Max Speed's hands.
Coach Young told me yesterday, he says, we play better when we can go up and down the court.
Which is a novel concept, but against the Sioux Falls Christian group, I'm not sure there's a better team at playing up and down the court.
Oh, nice by Dealman.
Wyatt Gilton trails the play right there. Grant Wassenaar was out in front, but man, he closed that in a hurry.
Yeah, Gilton with the swipe. Goodberry, Cooper, his first tray of the game. He is number 4 on the team and 3-point shots made.
Yeah, and they just freed him with just the easy in screen right there, and want to try to arrive right on the catch.
Slusarski, his first bucket, and he averages 8 a game.
And that's a welcome sight right there. Being able to create offense, be able to create advantages against the set defense of Sioux Falls Christian will be key for St. Thomas More.
Goodberry averaging 12 a game. 8 to shoot. And foul on the Cavaliers.
You can just see how quick that first step is from Wassenaar. And right now, Slusarski's getting the chance to try to check him, but he's about as hard as there is to stay in front of.
Nichols with the handoff to Goodberry.
It's a great off-ball cut right there from Goodberry, and he was a guy that was actually out for a few games towards the end of the season with an injury, but good to have him back and healthy, and it really makes him more of a complete ball club.
Yeah, he had an elbow injury. He was out for 5 weeks. Oh. Drilled by Gilton.
And those tough twos, tough shots are, St. Thomas More is going to need a few of those to go, and they are so far early.
The kick to Wassenaar. There's that up and down that St. Thomas More wants to do. And the putback by Speed. We're tied.
Right place, right time there for Max Speed. Averages about 6 boards a game. The undersized big fella. Looks like a football player.
Oh, Wassenaar. He is tops on the club in 3-point shots made.
He sized that one up, and Ashton Paulson was just too far off of him on that on-ball pressure.
Sioux Falls Christian also wants to go up and down. They like it when they can play fast. And they like transition basketball. Count it for Wassenaar. He will go to the line when we come back. Our first quarterfinal game in Rapid City of the Class A.
We aren't meant to be still. And while you determine the direction you'll go, we're just here to help you along the way. So go. Go with experience. Go with teamwork. Go with neighbors. Go with integrity.
There's Tony Young just getting ready to sit down. Maybe not. He's going to stand up. Here's a guy that for 18 years was under Dave Hollenbeck. And Dave Hollenbeck, of course, went on to West Central, and Tony Young takes over the program. Tony Young was coached by the great Fred Paulson with the Dakota Schoolers back in the day. Fred Paulson, great coach. Paulson and Paul Seville took that young Dakota Schoolers squad, and they won the very first tournament they played in, and they only had one practice. You had Derek Paulson and Jared Reiner and Denver Tenbrook, Chris Knight. Those were the guys on that Dakota Schoolers club with Tony Young.
By the sounds of it, I don't think they would have needed to practice with some of that, those names and ability right there, Craig.
That's Paulson. Ashton Paulson's grandfather was Fred Paulson. Oh, that one almost went in. Oh, I didn't see them practicing that shot yesterday. And the easy drive for Cooper Strandy.
Yeah, and you can just see the difference right now of the percentages of looks at Sioux Falls Christian. A lot of them getting right, and finally they get one downhill.
That's Paulson.
Get an easy one, yeah, and that's what they need, things to kind of free up a little bit and be able to get out in space. And so far early, Sioux Falls Christian making it really tough on them.
Wassenaar gets the roll. He's got 8 points.
You can just see his versatility. He's able to score in every spot on the court. Has already knocked down 1 3. Got a bunch going at the rim. You see why he averages about 23 points a game.
Rebound by Dielman. And that's going to be a blocking foul. That'll go against Broden Sales, his first. There's the shot that almost went in. The only no-look behind the back shot. almost went in.
Yeah, you love the hustle. You love the scrap right there.
Almost on target.
See both teams finally going to their bench here a little bit. With Canyon Prince checking in and Mitchell Hofer for the Christian team.
Stays Charger ball in for the Cavaliers. Noah Wall, 5'10" sophomore. Averages 4 per game.
You can see St. Thomas more. Yeah, nice job communicating. Switch that screen-the-screener action. They're getting into a lot of switch situations right now.
Wassenaar with the basket with contact down low.
Yeah, Coach Young, I think, was thinking that he was set and in pretty good guarding position right there. They let that one play on.
Nice dish to Slusarski. Barron with his second basket.
I think that was Sales, actually, that got that one, Craig. Yeah, that they dropped off to.
Here's Sales. Broden averages 6 per game. Nice try. Wow. Sales
Was able to
some
get
speed at the end of the bucket.
Right downhill off that high ball screen. Coverage was a little late and a little low.
Cooper Strandy, a little floater in his second bucket.
Yeah, and he's best attacking that rim. When you get in those closeout situations, you want to be able to contain that bounce first.
That's Hayden High, who has come in for the Cavaliers. Slusarski with the 3.
And that's their first 3 of the game here. 1 of 4 right now from distance. Sioux Falls Christian have already knocked down their first 2 of 3. They're actually shooting 73% from the floor.
After 1, the defending champs with a 5-point lead on the Cavaliers.
South Dakota, a state shaped by its people. It's more than a place, it's opportunity waiting to be realized. At South Dakota State University, opportunity is turned into progress. Through research, education, and a community that inspires, SDSU drives the future of this state. We're not just here, we're taking action with purpose, trust, and impact. This is SD State.
I'm Craig Maddock, along with Nate Kading, the Class A boys basketball tournament from Rapid City.
Both teams in that first quarter very comfortable offensively. St. Thomas More shooting 50% as they go right inside. Yeah, nice execution.
Dennis Mitchell Hofer with the bucket.
This St. Thomas More team going to need to find a way to be able to get some stops if they want to hang around against this Christian team. Started the game 9 of 13 from the floor thus far.
Foul was on Kenyon Prinz, his first. Well, St. Thomas More doing a lot better than the last time they played Sioux Falls Christian. 7% from the three-point arc, 13% from the field in the first half. Coach Young says, of course, you're not going to beat a lot of teams at all by starting out like that. And I think Tony probably was pretty happy with that first quarter.
Yeah, certainly, and especially how it ended, too. And
oh, he's got 12. Good transition.
That was a great pitch ahead there to Gilton, and you see the athleticism on the baseline drive.
Prinz. And look how quick. Oh, St. Thomas More gets back. Almost too quick. Goodberry.
A little bit fortunate right there, as St. Thomas More was not matched up, and Goodberry's not a guy that you want to leave open from out there, shooting over 30% from the arc.
Max Speed to Paulson. Hofer, and that, he's got 5.
And they were playing the percentages right there, as Max Speed was essentially what they call kind of dorking Hofer, and there he makes him pay.
Gilton off the window. Well, just a great move. He saw an opportunity. There was a spot open down low, went right after it.
Bunch of space over there that he attacked, and nice job hanging in the air, taking the contact and finishing that one easily.
Hofer again? Yes! I think he likes that spot, Nate.
You got that right, and he's more than capable from out there. It's his 19th make of the season.
Biggest lead of the game toward the Chargers, but smooth shot by Gilton.
Yeah, you see his offensive repertoire, both attacking the rim and from his pull-up game.
Hofer wasn't standing in the same spot. He hit his last 2 threes. Wassenaar. Timeout. St. Thomas More. We'll keep it right here as the Cavaliers called the timeout. It's a 30-second timeout. Wow. Transition basketball. All the coaches I talked to yesterday said that they play better when they are in transition, and certainly Sioux Falls Christian had that. We've seen that a couple of times with St. Thomas More.
Yeah, both teams have gotten out and have ran a little bit, and why coaches like that is obviously the obvious, that you can try to score against the unset defense, and we've had a few just sheer runouts of what you saw there from Grant Wassenaar, where there's just no defense back, but then other times you get in situations where you have advantages, 3-on-2, 4-on-3, and those are the ones that you really love as a coach.
Here's Ryan Negebauer for the Cavaliers. Negebauer.
So far, the Chargers have doubled up here, the Cavaliers, in the second quarter.
Nice pass to Prinz.
And Wassenaar actually leads them in assist.
Oh. Timeout on the court.
Reading opens every door to learning, opportunity, and understanding. The South Dakota Department of Education is strengthening literacy outcomes for students across our state, helping educators connect classroom instruction to the science of how children learn to read and write. Through professional support and shared resources, schools are building strong foundation in literacy for every learner. South Dakota Department of Education, learning, leadership, service.
You're committed to building relationships, to exceeding expectations, to serving your community. Your financial partner should share your vision and your values. For 130 years, we've stood by South Dakotans. We've been there, we'll be there. Convenient, connected, committed. Bank West, member FDIC.
Sioux Falls Christian had a 5-point lead at the end of the first quarter. And now their biggest lead of the game. Good challenge by Sales. He's got 6.
It's nice out of timeout execution right there. Getting an easy one. And this end of this half is a very key, pivotal moment here for the Cavaliers. They need to keep this game in striking distance.
And I think Broden Sales will pick up the foul. It is Sales, his second. In for Sioux Falls Christian, Cooper Goodbury back in. Cooper was out 5 weeks with a broken bone in his elbow. He's only been back 3 weeks. Coach Scouten says, you know, he's getting there. You know, not quite where he was, but he's here at the state tournament. In the basket from Dielman, Ryan's first basket.
See the big fella going to that dominant right hand, left shoulder right there. Just powers through that contact. St. Thomas More, they've kind of settled in a few situations for some tough pull-ups, both Paulson and Slusarski.
The Chargers are not taking a lot of time before they shoot the ball or attack the basket.
No, and they're getting some really high percentage looks, and that's one thing when you take tough shots on the one end, you know, you're going to be in transition a lot on the other, but you got to give credit to the Sioux Falls Christian defense that's making it tough on them.
This is Prinz, and Prinz, it's a blocking foul on the Chargers. On Paulson.
His second team foul this quarter for St. Thomas More.
And so at the line, Kenyon Prinz.
2 shots.
Yeah, he tried taking that second bump, and sometimes you're normally never going to get that first bump, but there are times you take that second and third bump and catch it square in the chest that they'll maybe give that one to you, but
Brant Wassenaar back in for the Chargers. Six points for Prinz. And back in Cooper Strandy for the Chargers. For St. Thomas More, they'll bring in Brody Willits. Brody Willits, a 6'3" junior in the game for the first time.
yeah, St. Thomas More only one of their last 7 from the floor. They badly need to be able to find some offense, and there's a nice off-ball cut, but got big Dielman behind them. It's always nice to have that 6'8", 6'9" big that you can count on to protect the rim in the paint.
Chargers on a 6-0 run over the last minute and a half. Oh, nice little fadeaway.
Tried to run Wassenaar in there off the little UCLA cut right to the post.
Gilton. Rebound by Wassenaar. Strandy. And that's going to be a foul on St. Thomas More. On Negebauer. For Ryan, that would be his first.
His first, team 3.
St. Thomas More has played some zone. They've gone back to the man-to-man that they started with. Slusarski with the rebound. Paulson with the floater. And for Ashton, his second bucket. St. Thomas More has scored 10 points here in the second quarter. Sioux Falls Christian has scored 20. About a 3-second difference with the game clock and the shot clock. Oh, Wassenaar lost it. Goodberry has a chance. Oh, and that's going to be a blocking foul. Count it for Goodberry. And he'll go to the line, shoot the and one. Negebauer picks up his second foul for St. Thomas More.
Goodberry at the line. Chargers 1 shot.
.70% free throw shooter. Oh, and that will go on Dealman with the push. Cavaliers with a chance for the heave and the hoe here at the end of the first half. Slusarski will let it fly. And at halftime, Sioux Falls Christian, they score 22 points in the second quarter. St. Thomas More scores 10 points in that second quarter. 42-25 your score at the half. And Nate Kading is with the head coach of the Chargers, Mike Scouten.
Coach, you were able to create a little bit of separation in that second quarter. What'd you like from your team?
I liked how we're pushing the ball. We did a good job offensively. I feel we're getting some really good shots. I would like to see the ball moved a little bit more and some more stops. But other than that, I thought we had a really good half.
Awesome, Coach. Well, appreciate the time. Best of luck in that second.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah.
Chargers, the top seed, 20-1 on the season, and they got the lead here at the break.
You live life on the move. While you determine what direction that may be, we're here to help along the way. So go. Go with values. Go with friends. Go with support. Go with convenience.
Bioethanol supplies more than just energy. It creates jobs in rural communities. It drives demand for local corn. It provides opportunities for family farms to thrive. To ensure agriculture plays a leading role in the efforts to decarbonize and transition energy, bioethanol remains at the forefront of a pursuit for a cleaner, brighter future for all Americans. Learn how at sdethanol.com.
Powering the possibilities of tomorrow starts today. For our homes, our farms, our businesses. That's why our Touchstone Energy Cooperative continually plans for the future by utilizing and sourcing safe, reliable power for the next generation. So we can power possibilities long into the future. Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, powering possibilities.
This is the moment to shop everything new. As a new season begins, make room for fresh home style. During the sale of the season, only at the
Welcome back to Rapid City, the site of the Class A boys basketball tournament. We have some entertainment
Ladies and
coming your
gentlemen,
way.
would you welcome your halftime entertainment for our first game? Here is the Rapid City Central Cobbler Drumline. gentlemen, the Cobbler Drumline.
Rapid City Central Drumline performing here this afternoon. Highlights and stats from our first half when we come back.
Creating a legacy means different things to everyone. For us, it's about family, watching my daughter follow in my footsteps, passing the farm on to her, and working side by side every day. It's about building something that lasts. Agtegra Cooperative has been by our side through it all, supporting us from one generation to the next. Agtegra Cooperative, legacy rich, future focused for generations to come.
For over 55 years, Muth Electric has been powering progress across the Midwest. Our team of professionals deliver electrical solutions with innovation and safety at the core. We work with purpose, knowing that each project contributes to something bigger. Muth Electric, a partner in building a brighter future since 1970.
Are Peterson reps real-life seed heroes? Well, they've been known to go the extra mile, literally thousands of extra miles every year. And when they're not driving gravel roads, they're out walking fields and sampling soil. When time is the enemy, they're there to save what's left of the day. Are all Peterson reps seed heroes? I guess that's a yes. Peterson, we're that kind of seed company.
First half highlights from our first quarterfinal game of the State A boys basketball tournament. Game was tied at 6, but then Sioux Falls Christian on some runouts, some three-point shots made. Wassenaar had one, Hofer had 2, Goodbury had one. St. Thomas More getting a 3 from Slusarski. They're getting balanced scoring, but right now Sioux Falls Christian is kind of been overwhelming.
Yeah, shooting 65% from the floor right now, Craig. 17 of 26, only 2 turnovers on the game. Whereas on the other side, St. Thomas More only 1 of 9 from 3. They're going to need some more of those to drop. 3 assists, 6 turnovers. Many of those turnovers have accounted for points on the other end, and that's how we have what we have in front of us here.
Sioux Falls Christian led by Brant Wassenaar with 14. Sioux Falls Christian getting 14 points off the bench today.
And you can see that rebounding battle. You know, you like the effort, but Sioux Falls Christian just there haven't been a ton of missed shots for them to even go get, but you like the stick-to-itiveness that this St. Thomas More has shown on a few possessions.
Wyatt Gilton with 8 points to lead the way for the Cavaliers. Rebound battle. Sioux Falls Christian with 12 rebounds. St. Thomas More has 17 rebounds.
Yeah, and they do have 6 offensive. Now they've obviously had more of their own misses to go get than Sioux Falls Christian has, but as I said, you like the effort.
Good defense there by Max Speed for the Cavaliers. And that's Gilton.
After his last post touch where he went away from the rim, you could hear the coaching staff imploring him and his teammates to put pressure on the rim. You could see it right there with a little right to left cross getting downhill.
Ashton Paulson is going to pick up the foul. It would be his second.
Also number 24, Ashton Olsen of the Cavaliers. His second, first team.
And Coach Young had talked about it coming out of halftime too, just defensively and being able to string some stops together and try to just chip away at this lead and put a little pressure on the Sioux Falls Christian team.
The reverse layup. Gilton averages 18 a game. He's got a dozen. Second effort there by Wassenaar. He's got 16.
You can see him sticking with his own miss right there, and he didn't miss a whole lot in that first half with 6 and 9 from the floor.
Sales.
You can see the offense coming quite a bit easier here in this second half than certainly it was in that second quarter.
Slesarski is going to pick up the foul.
And we've seen a few different times where Christian, you can just see they're well taught, they're well schooled. When they get those middle drives, they look at that corner back cut guy, and they've had a lot of success with it.
This is Carson Nichols at the line. 64% shooter. He's 1 for 2 today.
Yeah, and Carson's actually going on to continue on his career at Morningside down in Sioux City, Iowa, in the normally always competitive GPAC conference.
Goodberry. Boy, look at the speed. Carson Nichols getting his first basket.
And those are the ones that are just killers for you, because not only do you lose a possession, but you end up with an easy deuce on the other end.
Air ball.
Yeah, and when St. Thomas More has been at their best and most effective is when they're really working, they're putting pressure on that rim. They've just had a tendency at times maybe settle for some tougher contested shots, and it's hard to make a living doing that.
Oh. That's Wassenaar. And count it. Roden Sales. Going tough to the rack. And the and one shot. We'll try it right after the timeout.
At Southeast Technical College, you won't just study for a career, you'll live it. Training in classrooms that look, feel, and operate just like the real world. Because the best way to do what you learn is to learn by doing. Get your degree, get to work at Southeast Technical College.
Hey, buddy.
Your Great Plains Case IH dealers know that hard work starts early, in the field and on the field or the court. Dedication, teamwork, pride, the values driving farmers also powers South Dakota athletes. Growing crops or growing champions, it takes the same drive to succeed. Your local Great Plains Case IH dealers know the future is built by showing up day after day, ready to work, ready to win. Great Plains Case IH dealers, supporting schools, athletes, and the communities we grow.
There's Mike Schouten, head coach of Sioux Falls Christian. Mike, by the way, in his 20th year at Sioux Falls Christian, he is the 16th all-time winningest coach in South Dakota boys basketball. He's 6th among all of the active coaches. Some big names on that list. Oh my.
That's good company to keep right there.
Goodbury coming in strong. That's max speed with a rebound. Goodbury with the steal. Oh my goodness, and going the distance and will go to the free throw line. That looked like a triple jump there. Some leaping.
Yeah, and a couple guys tried to. Gilton was trying to slide over, and yeah, a few guys were trying to get there, but neither one of them were quite in the position that they needed to be to get that charge call.
10 for Goodbury.
Yeah, and after getting some early offense, this St. Thomas More team has had a couple turnovers, and
that will go against Dealman of Sioux Falls Christian.
Chargers now number 10. Dealman. That's his second.
For St. Thomas More, Ashton Paulson back in, Noah Wald.
And Noah Wald for St. Thomas More.
And when you look at the three-point battle alone right now, Sioux Falls Christian 4 of 10, and St. Thomas More only 1 of 10. And with how talented this Chargers group is offensively, you're really going to need to. And there they finally get one to drop right there. Noah Wald, who steps up and hits a big one.
Now let's watch St. Thomas More. They want transition. They want to go fast.
Yeah, they haven't been able to get too many of those opportunities. Have had a couple, and a big reason for that, Sioux Falls Christian team has only had 3 turnovers, and they're shooting 60% from the floor.
High with the pull-up. Coach Scouten said the biggest difference from last year's championship team to the one they have this year. Certainly, of course, they had the Gatorade Player of the Year last year as Strandy hits the tray. But mainly they've had to rely on some of the younger players this year. I mean, they were loaded with seniors a year ago.
Yeah, and you saw one of them right there, Cooper Strandy, only hits his 7th 3 of the year. He's only shooting it at a 24% clip coming into the tournament, but there he stepped up in rhythm and knocked that down pretty comfortably.
Canyon Friends and Mitchell Coker. Broden Sales checks in for the Cavaliers.
Cooper Strandy had been caught with the foul on that last play. It'll stay with the Cavaliers.
It's a nice execution there. They ran Sales off that diagonal into the block, and Christian defender actually took himself out of the play, just missed that point blank bunny.
Gilton. This is Paulson.
They've done a little better job here in the second half, St. Thomas More that is, and trying to take away Wassenaar's space a little bit. When he does drive it, he's seeing some more hands and some more bodies. He's such a difficult cover one-on-one that really takes a whole team effort to try to check him. And then he starts getting in situations where he can make his teammates better.
Slusarski back in for St. Thomas More. Wassenaar makes his free throw. He'll be at 20 points. 3 for 3 from the foul line. Well, we've seen a few air balls today.
Yeah, and just some tough one when they're contested like that. And there's a nice find, shot fake finish there by Canyon Prinz, who's a key for them coming off the bench.
No basket.
Another guy that averages double figures for him.
Goodbury with the foul as the Chargers will bring in Carson Nichols and Bryce Wassenaar. Nice play on the inbound. And the basket by Sales. He has a dozen. Gilton and Sales both with 12 points for St. Thomas More. That will stay here with the Cavaliers.
Yeah, and when you allow the Sioux Falls Christian team to have 59 points with a minute 26 left to play in the game, and with them averaging, and there you can see Gilton with another dunk, but this Christian team averages 77 points a game, and they're just so high-powered offensively that you just feel like it needs to be a little bit more of a controlled tempo in order to have success against them, because if it's free flowing and it's up and down, and there you see Prinz again, it's gonna more often than not favor this Chargers group.
Here's Paulson. Guarded by Nichols, and travel on the play.
And Paulson's been pretty quiet here so far in this game. Only 2 of 7 from the floor. He was actually their second leading scorer coming into this afternoon's action. Over 12 a game, and just hasn't been able to get much offense going for himself.
Chargers scored 20 points in the first quarter, 22 in the second, 19 here in the third.
Shot and game clock pretty well evened up here.
Oh, a lot of traffic. And that's going to be the end of the third quarter. The top seed, Sioux Falls Christian Chargers, on top.
Is it the competition that keeps bringing you back? The long-standing rivalries? Or is it seeing friends again and cheering on your favorite team? At First Dakota, we're here for all of it. We appreciate the fans, the players, the coaches and officials, the concessions crew. The shared community experience is part of what makes life here great. And we're here for all of it. See you at the game.
South Dakota, a state shaped by its people. It's more than a place, it's opportunity waiting to be realized. At South Dakota State University, opportunity is turned into progress. through research, education, and a community that inspires, SDSU drives the future of this state. We're not just here, we're taking action with purpose, trust, and impact. This is SD State.
Back in Rapid City, Summit Arena. We're inside the monument in Rapid City. Our first quarterfinal game of the day. After this one, it is Groton area. I'm sorry, it is
Hamlin
Yeah,
and Groton.
Groton and
you were
Hamlin, yeah.
correct. You were correct.
We got 5 of the 8 teams here were here a year ago, including both of these squads. Transition. That's what Sioux Falls Christian has done all season long. Coach Scouten says, you know, they score a lot in transition. You know, running, playing fast, defensive rebounds. That's been the key for Sioux Falls Christian all season.
Yeah, and creating turnovers and letting that defense spark that offense. And we've seen it a number of times here as St. Thomas More has 11 turnovers on the game, and there Gilton gets a tough one to go. And he's had a few quality looks from out there. His first one that he gets to drop from distance, 1 of 5 from deep, leading them in scoring with 17.
Rebound by Slusarski. Gilton Wood, what a nice move. And a timeout as Mike Scouten wants to talk it over here for a minute.
Protecting crops. Agronomy Plus in Mitchell, Rock Creek in Howard, and Valley Station at Armour provide agronomy services, fertilizer products, and crop analysis systems, including Agronomy 365. This system helps manage your field's performance, supporting small-town communities while hiring and training local youth. Agronomy Plus in Mitchell, Rock Creek in Howard, and Valley Station in Armour, serving area producers and their communities.
Mike Scouten, head coach of Sioux Falls Christian, didn't really like what was happening in the last 30 seconds of the game, and as St. Thomas More getting some points on the board.
Yeah, had a quick 5-0 run right there. And always when you're in that position, you're thinking about your process, and you're trying to be process oriented, and you're thinking about when you get in a situation like this. I mean, realistically, Friday night and Saturday night, that watch your guys playing the right way, and there you can see them reacting pretty positively to the timeout.
Prinz with a dozen coming off the bench. Give to Paulson. Prinz on the run out. Oh, blocking foul.
They've stepped in there, and
that's Sales with the foul.
Tried to take a couple of them here today, and just haven't. Yeah, just wasn't quite there early enough. He's going to feel that one tomorrow, though, Craig. I can tell you that.
Strandy. And Paulson is going to be picking up his third foul. So at the line is Carson Nichols, 2 for 3 from the line today.
Yeah, and he generally shoots the basketball really well from 3, and the foul line has had a few uncharacteristic misses.
Baron Slusarski with his second 3.
And things have finally started to open up, as you can see Wassenaar with a nice.
Got 23. Sioux Falls Christian ball. Sioux Falls Christian making their 15th appearance to the state basketball tournament, 11 in a row. Sioux Falls Christian trying to get to the finals for the 3rd straight year. Sioux Falls Christian is 69-3 the past 3 seasons.
They got a good thing rolling over there with Coach Scouten and the crew, and with the amount of, got a couple seniors that are important to them, and Cooper Goodberry and Nichols, and
over the last few years, yeah, when you've had some Goodberries and some Wassenaars on the roster, that helps a lot.
Helps a lot, and they got a good core of some young guys along with Wassenaar that have gotten some good experience, and Strandy and Dielman, and so they'll probably be here for another 11 years, Craig, potentially.
Oh, you just hear the groan amongst the other Class A schools. That it's Dielman, and Ryan with his second basket. Strandy. Nichols. Paulson.
Yeah, we haven't had to worry about too many shot clock situations in this game, and just again a little mismatch in transition.
Timeout on the court.
For your little ones and your biggest joys, or your forever friends and your fur kids too. For your better half or your all-time bestie. For the reasons you smile, there's coverage. With dental and vision insurance from Delta Dental of South Dakota and Delta Vision.
I never expected Ragbri to be such a community. Ragbri, here we go.
We don't leave the ride the same way as we began it.
It's so fun to just have a whole week off, from your life and just get to ride a bike.
Tonight after basketball on SDPB.
Sioux Falls Christian senior Cooper Goodberry. Had a chance to talk to him, shares his thoughts heading into this tournament.
It's been good. It's been fun. We've had a really good season. It's been a lot of fun playing my senior year with my best friends, and we've had a lot of good competition, but I think that's got us ready for this. I'd say our mentality is just to go out, play hard, and have fun, and glorify God. I feel like if we just go out there and we play our hardest, we have very good odds of coming out here with a championship, hopefully. But yeah, just playing hard and play for each other. Honestly, we're just a bunch of best friends playing basketball together. We all like to keep our faith at the center of it all, and I think that just builds us and gets us ready for all the games, knowing we're playing for a bigger purpose and we're playing for the Lord. and that just gives us the strength. It's very special to make it for the last 4 years, and we want to keep the streak going, and we want to get a tournament win, definitely.
Thanks to Cooper sharing some of those thoughts yesterday. And the drive by Prince.
If he was worried about getting a win, I think that's going to happen here in a couple minutes.
Only loss by Sioux Falls Christian was that game against West Central. West Central still undefeated. Sioux Falls Christian getting the top seed with one loss, mainly because of seeding points that they got. And the alley-oop. Hilton now with 21. Sioux Falls Christian got some extra seeding points on an opponent from out of state that advanced their season. So they got some extra seeding points, which allowed them to be the top seed. Here comes Wassenaar out. Here comes Prinz out.
Do we want to get into the merits of that decision, Craig, or are we leaving that one for off the air?
I think there are several that would like to see that relooked at. Yeah,
yeah, I think that's fair to say.
That's Wassenaar. That's Bryce Wassenaar with his first three.
Yeah, the brother of Brant comes in and looking very comfortable.
Mitchell Hofer hits his third three of the game. I mean, that was drilled.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of arc on that shot, but he's at it dead on. Dead in the water. He does shoot 35% from the three, as we mentioned in the first half. So yeah, more than capable from out there, and he's showing it here this afternoon.
Titus Van Dockersgood in for Sioux Falls Christian, along with Mason Snyder, Bryce Wassenaar, and the other way, and the layup by Noah Wall. Noah's got 5.
And you like to see even some of these reserves haven't played a ton, are still out there competing and playing hard and relishing their state tournament opportunity.
This is Hayden High with the ball for the Cavaliers. And traveling, it'll go to the Cavaliers. For Sioux Falls Christian, here comes Landon Egbers and Max McDonald. Hofer coming out of the game with 11 points, along with 3 threes. Rebound by Mason Snyder. Cavaliers staying in transition. Negebauer. And he's going to go to the line. Ryan will go to the line to shoot a couple. Foul on the Chargers, Luke Van Leeuwen. But here's Negebauer. Negebauer, 50% shooter. First point of the game for Negebauer. Rebound by Max McDonald. Coming up on the final seconds of the game. last shot off the mark. 82-59. Sioux Falls Christian with the win. And Sioux Falls Christian now 21-1 on the season. St. Thomas More will fall to 17-6. Sioux Falls Christian being led by Brant Wassenaar with 26. Canyon Prinz off the bench with 14. Mitchell Hofer off the bench with 11. Cooper Goodbury with 10 to lead the way. For St. Thomas More and head coach Tony Young, Wyatt Gilton with 21 and Broden Sales with 15. St. Thomas More moving to the consolation round here tomorrow, and Sioux Falls Christian moving on to the semifinals here tomorrow night. Mike Schouten is the head coach in his 20th year for Sioux Falls Christian, and he's with Nate Kading.
Coach, pretty complete performance right there on both ends. As you guys were coming into this quarterfinal matchup, what were a few of your keys and emphases coming in this afternoon?
Well, we really wanted to do a good job of rebounding the ball. I think we have some work to do there yet. We give up too many old boards. But other than that, I thought offensively we were really crisp. We just need to clean some things up on the defensive end.
What does a guy like Brant Wassenaar mean to your program, both on and off the floor?
Brant's a great kid. He's a great leader, obviously a tremendous player. And I don't know where we'd be without him, to be honest. He's just that impactful of a player that he could just take over a game, and we're very blessed to have him.
No doubt. Congrats on the win, and we'll see you here back tomorrow night.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks.
That's Mike Schouten, head coach of Sioux Falls Christian, as the Chargers move on. Got some stats and highlights of the second half coming up from our first quarterfinal game of the AA boys basketball tournament.
You kept us fed through tough times. And despite rising business costs, you keep doing what you love because you know you're making a difference. No matter the challenges, we're here to help you navigate the highs and lows to grow your business, to improve your land, or to buy new equipment. We all rely on you, and we're just happy to return the favor. Go with Allies. Go with trust. Go with Dakota Bank.
Don't be fooled by that beat-up old cap. Its faded crown represents the tireless work of America's farmers and ranchers. Its sturdy brim, their dedication to providing our nation with a safe, affordable food source. From sunup to sundown, they're turning quarters into the dollars that drive our rural economy. So we'd like to tip our hat to them. Farmers Union Insurance, protecting those that protect America's food source.
I never expected RAGBRAI to be such a community. RAGBRAI, here we go.
We don't leave the ride the same way as we began it.
It's so fun to just have a whole week off, from your life and just get to ride a bike.
Tonight after basketball on SDPB.
Lake Area Technical College provides hands-on learning and practical experience in real-world environments. Prepare for a career right out of school from the moment you step on campus for an education that can really be put to work. Lake Area Tech is the start of something new.
Sioux Falls Christian advances to the semifinals with the win over St. Thomas More. And Nate, highlights of the second half. The Chargers not only getting production from their starters, they're getting production off the bench. They had 8 players score for them today, a couple of them coming off the bench and scoring in double figures.
Yeah, shooting 60% as a team overall. As you mentioned, 4 in double figures. Wassenaar with 26. Canyon Prince coming off the bench with 14. Cooper Goodberry chipping in 10. 7 of 15 overall from 3. Just a really complete offensive performance here in the first game for the Sioux Falls Christian Chargers.
4 Chargers in double figures. St. Thomas More, they were led by Wyatt Gilton with 21 and Broden Sales with 16.
And they just really couldn't get it going enough from 3. Only 4 of 21 on the game, and you got to give a lot of credit to that Sioux Falls Christian defense that really made it tough on them. Certainly in the half court, forced them into 13 turnovers that contributed for a bunch of points as Sioux Falls Christian got out in transition. 52 points in the paint for the Sioux Falls Christian team.
Groton area and Hamlin, the next quarterfinal game still to come.
Educators across South Dakota are coming together to elevate, educate, and empower. This June, the Department of Education hosts the South Dakota Literacy Conference in Mitchell, a gathering dedicated to advancing the science of reading and sharing new insights into how students learn, exploring research and real-world strategies for South Dakota educators to move literacy forward for all learners. South Dakota Department of Education, learning, leadership, service.
You hear about work-life balance like it's a big equation you have to find the answer to. But I think it's much simpler than that. So simple it was right in front of us. Start with the life you want, and everything else will follow.
Are Peterson reps real-life seed heroes? Well, they've been known to go the extra mile. Literally thousands of extra miles every year. And when they're not driving gravel roads, they're out walking fields and sampling soil. When time is the enemy, they're there to save what's left of the day. Are all Peterson reps seed heroes? I guess that's a yes. Peterson, we're that kind of seed company.
Welcome back to Rapid City as we get ready for our second quarterfinal matchup between Groton area and Hamlin. By the way, the Elkton Lake Benton girls basketball team hired a new head coach this year, and it has the school pretty excited. And what makes Mallory Babb unique at Elkton Lake Benton is her age. She's one of the youngest head coaches in the state. Most weeks, she's spending her days studying textbooks and then the night dissecting playbooks.
Elkton Lake Benton's Mallory Babb is a lot like many first-year coaches, trying to find the balance between life on the sidelines and life in the classroom.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I have like almost a full day of classes from 10 to 2:50 or 1:50. And then after that, I really go straight to practice or games, or I'm just getting ready to go do my job. Tuesdays and Thursdays are my lighter schedule for classes, so I do have a little break time. That's a lot of time where I like to watch film or do what I can to prepare the girls for practice or games, and then I end up going to practice or the games, and I'm getting ready to go and getting these girls prepared for what they need to do.
The difference between Coach Babb and many other first-year coaches, instead of teaching classes, well, she's taking them as a sophomore at SDSU. But how did this 19-year-old get the helm of a Class A program? Well, it all starts a year ago.
I knew a lot of people. The SDSU assistant basketball coach here, Shelby Selland, she was my freshman year basketball coach at Brandon Valley, and she asked me at first to be a manager for the SDSU women's basketball team. I decided to decline, just wanted to focus on school. And now an old Brandon Middle School teacher, she's now the principal at Elkton, texted Selland and was like, hey, we need a JV girls basketball coach. Like, would anyone you know be interested in it? And Selland texted me, and I was like, well, I've always wanted to coach. I've always loved it. So I was like, yeah, I'll take it on, and got the job on the spot.
After a year on the JV sidelines and the previous head coach leaving, that left the Lady Elks with an opening and a possible opportunity.
You know, we kind of went into the summer without a head coach. Mallory did a bunch of stuff with the girls last year as far as open gyms and camps and getting them to stuff, and then, you know, it was getting towards the middle of summer, and we had some applicants and stuff, and just with her familiarity with the program, having been in it a year, and what she was doing throughout the summer just kind of showed that it was her time to, you know, take the helm of it.
While Mallory might not have the most experience in coaching, she does have a pretty deep bench of coaches to go to in her family tree.
Both my grandpas, really successful coaches. My grandpa, Jim Babb, Hall of Fame at Beersford. Grandpa Bob Herding, he coached at Canton, and my dad used to coach. My uncle coaches at a school in Florida, so I'm actually the first female in my family to do it as well. So I'm definitely making history in my family line.
And with about a year age gap between the head coach and her oldest player, for the Lady Elks, it's a coach-player relationship with maybe a sprinkle of big sister.
Before games or after games, the girls are telling me, they're sitting next to me and they're talking to me like I'm their sister, and they'll talk about the boys that they like, or the outfit that they want to wear to, or like the dress they want to wear to prom, and all the things.
She talks about it all the time, how she like nears the line between like crossing things, but she's very good at knowing like when she needs to be each person. Like she's good at knowing like when it's time to be like silly, and then time like when we need to focus, and like she needs to be the coach in certain situations.
Towards like the beginning of the year, she had told us that we're still going to be close, obviously, as a team, like keep the chemistry and stuff, but try not to make it like we're all siblings. Like the girls on the court, like, yeah, we're gonna get along, act like we're sisters, like as a team, but with her, like treat her as a coach, not like she's on the court playing with us and not like she's our age.
No matter the age, the Lady Elks know they have the right person calling the shots on the hardwood.
I think for my senior year, definitely she's the perfect coach. She's just so dedicated and willing to like put in the time. She's always watching film on other teams and us, and her feedback like is what I've always like wanted in a coach.
It's actually, we talk about this a lot, how if we weren't in basketball or weren't like in high school, me as in high school, her in college, we'd be like best friends. We like relate to a lot of stuff. We both like dogs. So yeah, I think it's really nice having her as a coach because we can relate to stuff really well.
She's done a great job for us right so far at this point, I feel, and hopefully we can keep her as long as she's wanting to continue.
I've never really put it into perspective that I'm 19 and I'm breaking down a barrier or doing something else. I just feel confident enough that I know what I'm doing, and I'm here to help the girls. That's what I really just put into place, that I'm confident enough that I can do this, and I'm here for these girls for whatever they need, personal or basketball. Good. Don't leave me hanging, please. They're recording me.
And good luck to Mallory. Hamlin, Groton area. Coming up when we come back.
Bank West is rooted in South Dakota. Committed to local success. Just like you. We're all connected. In South Dakota. For South Dakota. Convenient, connected, committed. Bank West.
Creating a legacy means different things to everyone. For us, it's about family, watching my daughter follow in my footsteps, passing the farm onto her, and working side by side every day. It's about building something that lasts. Agtegra Cooperative has been by our side through it all, supporting us from one generation to the next. Agtegra Cooperative, legacy rich, future focused for generations to come.
Powering the possibilities of tomorrow starts today. For our homes, our farms, our businesses. That's why our Touchstone Energy Cooperative continually plans for the future by utilizing and sourcing safe, reliable power for the next generation. So we can power possibilities long into the future. Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, powering possibilities.
Our second quarterfinal game of the Class A boys basketball tournament, Groton Area and Hamlin. For Groton Area, they're making their 12th appearance to the state boys tournament, third year in a row for Groton Area. No titles, no runner-ups yet for the Tigers. Here's what they did in the playoffs. And the First Dakota Bank starting lineup.
And they are led by Ryder Johnson, just under 15 a game, but a very balanced group. 4 guys averaging in double figures: Tracy, Zach, Bosma, and Sipple joining Ryder Johnson in that starting lineup. And you can see Coach Greg Kelson there.
Longtime coach. He was away for 9 years and came back. He retired. He came back, first year back. And they'll take on the Hamlin Chargers. Hamlin making their 14th appearance to the state tournament. It is their 4th straight. They won it all back in 24 and then a runner-up last year. Here is the First Dakota Bank starting lineup.
And they have the two-headed monster, Jackson Wadsworth, 21 points a game. Bowden Stevenson, 17. And then a host of others that fill out that lineup with Abraham, Heinrich, and Stormo. And you can see the KG veteran, Todd Neuendorf. That's a no stranger to big moments and no stranger to state tournaments.
Want to give a quick shout out to Todd's mom. Been battling health issues. Hopefully she's able to watch today, but big shout out to Todd's mom today. Follow SDPB Sports on your mobile device. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Let's meet the teams of our second quarterfinal match. Here's Scott Jensen.
Good afternoon, Summit Arena fans. Welcome back to the Monument in Rapid City and everyone watching all over the world on SDPB. Quarterfinal game number 2 between the number 5 seed Groton Area Tigers versus the number 4 seed Hamlin Chargers. Ladies and gentlemen, this year in partnership with the South Dakota High School Activities Association, the participating school of the Boys State A Tournament, and the officials of the tournament, we are proud to introduce the Junior Official Program. We appreciate the willingness of our officials to take part in this initiative and mentor younger individuals who have an interest in officiating. This program provides a great opportunity for youth to gain exposure to the officiating profession while learning from experienced officials in a state tournament environment. Ladies and gentlemen, we're proud to welcome our junior officials for game number 2, Boston Kurth from Groton Area, and Tate Lorenz from Aberdeen, following in their dad's footsteps. Give them a nice round of applause. Your officials for game 2, the referee is Chris Janish. The umpires are Chris Long and Darren Lorenz. And now let's introduce the cheerleaders for this game between the Groton Area Tigers and the Hamlin Chargers. First, the cheerleaders for the Groton Area Tigers: Elizabeth Cole, Maya Fieser, Addison Haft, Breslin Jeske, Paisley Mitchell, Riley Rose, Natalia Warrington, and Avila Warrington. The cheer coaches are Aubrey Miller and Madison Berkey. And now the cheerleaders for the Hamlin Chargers. Adriana Cabrera Rodriguez, Evelyn Gustafson, Laura Larson, Danica Perez, and Amelia Loban. Cheer coaches are Cindy Haas and Janice McDonald. Let's introduce the coaches for each team. First, the coaches for the Groton Area Tigers. The assistant coaches are Ryan Tracy and Jordan Carson. Head coach for the Groton Area Tigers is Greg Kelson. And now the coaches for the Hamlin Chargers. Assistant coaches are Easton Neuendorf and Kevin Crum. Head coach for the Hamlin Chargers is Todd Neuendorf. The Channel Seed alternating starting lineups. First for the Tigers at guard, a 6-foot senior, number 1, Keegan Tracy. For the Chargers at forward, a 6'5" junior, number 1, Bowden Stevenson. For the Tigers at guard, a 6-foot sophomore, number 3, Carson Zach. For the Chargers at forward, a 6'3" junior, number 10, Jack Stormo. For the Tigers at guard, a 6'5" senior, number 4, Ryder Johnson. For the Chargers at forward, a 6'3" senior, number 20, Aiden Abraham. For the Tigers at forward, a 6'5" senior, number 5, Becker Bosma. For the Chargers at guard, a 6'3" senior, number 23, Jackson Wadsworth. And for the Tigers at center, a 6'7" senior, number 30, Gage Sipple. And for the Chargers at forward, 6'5" freshman, number 30, Trig Heinrich.
Time for Nate's notes. Nate, what's going to be key today? First for the Groton Area Tigers.
Number 1, they need to defend the three-point line. This Hamlin team is lethal from distance, multiple guys. The second thing, they want to utilize their size to control the glass, control the paint. On the other side, Hamlin, nobody executes better in the half court than these guys. They run a bunch of sets. They want to do so here today, and they got to limit this Groton team to one shot and done. They can't allow their size. They can't allow Gage Sipple and Ryder Johnson be able to create second opportunities for themselves.
Glad to have you with us. Sipple will jump against Stevenson. Former Roosevelt Rough Rider Chris Janish will tip it off for us as the referee. Look for number 4, that's Ryder Johnson. You know, his dad is the all-time leading scorer for Groton Area. 1,100-point scorer in his career.
You see that speed, quickness there, just with a right to left cross, and had a point blank opportunity early.
And for Hamlin, look for Wadsworth. He wears number 23. He's got the ball, and he got rejected by Tracy.
Could see them running that set play, got him a post touch, and Good interior defense.
The lob is to Sipple. These two teams did play each other, but it was the first game of the year. It was back in early December. Groton area got the win, 55-50.
You can see that ball pressure early, and we mentioned it. Hamlin is a team that they'll run a lot of set actions in the half court. So disrupting that ball pressure, tips on passes is important if you're Groton.
That's Aiden Abraham with the bucket.
It's a nice interior find right there from Stevenson.
Oh! Nobody followed Carson Dack to the rack.
Hey, Carson Dack with a little fake handoff. And you see the sophomore rising up.
Coach Kelson thinks Carson Dack probably the most athletic player that he's ever coached. That rebound by Abraham. Here's Wadsworth, averages 21 a game.
And these two teams a little bit apt to, there's a nice little spin and a little off the mark.
Jump ball.
These groups a little bit more apt as we see the replay here. Nice hesitation and go. Looking like you back in the day, Craig.
Oh yeah, with the with a trampoline, maybe. You know, Zach is 6 foot. I mean, he's got great leaping ability.
Yeah, they're a little bit, these two groups a little bit more apt to execute in the half court than the first two that we had today. That was up and down, wide open.
Foul on Bozema. That's his first. And here's Wadsworth at the line. He has been to the line more times than any other Charger. An 84% free throw shooter. Hamlin making it to the state title the last 2 years. They want to be there for the third straight year. They won it all back in 2024, beating Sioux Falls Christian, and then last year, Sioux Falls Christian getting the win.
Yeah, and the guy that was just at the free throw line, Jackson Wadsworth, been a big part of both those runs and had a tremendous senior year thus far.
Johnson. And going to the line will be Sipple.
And that's the advantage that we talked about at the onset of the game. Gage Sipple, 6'7", strong, big. Hamlin has some length, but they don't have anybody with the stature and physicality of Gage Sipple, and they got switched on a ball screen right there. So Wadsworth was the one that was trying to check him out and keep him off the glass.
Coach Kelson says Sipple has been big inside this year. Last year he was primarily used as a screener up high, but now he's being used as an offensive threat. Ooh, and this is going to go on Bozema. That would be his second. 2 quick fouls by Becker Bozema. And Groton will bring Easton Weber off the bench. And Bozema will sit down with the 2 fouls.
Yeah, that kind of changes their lineup a little bit. Now they go more with the 4 guards when Bozema's not in the game.
And Stevenson will go to the line.
You can see Hamlin really making a concerted effort to throw that ball in. They ran Stevenson off the diagonal, had that favorable matchup on Keegan Tracy, gives up about 5 inches, and Sipple had no choice but to come over and help him.
Told you Wadsworth had been to the line the most times for Hamlin. Stevenson's number 2, 51% shooter.
Looks like Hamlin in a little 2-3 matchup zone.
Open. Drive by Stevenson. Nope, traveled. All tied up. Almost halfway through our opening period.
As much as you have accomplished, there are times you'd rather not go it alone. While you determine what direction you go, we're here to help along the way. So go. Go with community. Go with neighbors. Go with understanding. Go with support.
There's Greg Kelson, the head coach of Groton area. He retired in 2016 after 29 years at Groton. And then, taught at Aberdeen Central for a couple of years and coached some junior high ball. And math job, though, opened up back at Groton. So he picked that back up and has done junior high basketball the last 5 years. And then here this year, back as the head coach of Groton area. I guess you can come out of retirement once in a while, right? There's Carson Zach. He's got 5 points.
Yeah, Hamlin had a numbers situation right there, and you saw that last possession. Great poise by Carson Zach in the paint, and said, hey, if no one's gonna continue to stay with me.
Sipple with it, with Groton area.
You can see that impact that Sipple's making here early on.
Coach Kelson says they're much more physical this year. They've been in the weight room as Sipple scores. He says you look at the tape from Groton area a year ago, and now he says you're going to see us how much bigger we are.
The freshman there, Trig Heinrich, who's given up a fair amount of weight right there when Sipple put that shoulder into him. Yeah, and right now Groton's trying to switch a lot of these actions that they're seeing from Hamlin. The numbers.
Oh! Zach is going to go to the line.
And that right there is why you never give up on a play. They had Ryder Johnson out in front. Carson Zach smartly fouls that up.
Carson, a 67% free throw shooter. Number 2, check that, number 3 on the squad as far as trips to the free throw line.
Yeah, and Sipple smartly there. Didn't want to pick up his second foul and drew those arms back in.
Coach Neuendorf said they had to change everything offensively compared to a year ago. Wadsworth is the basket by Stevenson. Wadsworth ran a lot of sets for him last year, but now this year they got to almost make him a point guard and then find a spot for him to shoot on the floor.
Yeah, and you can see they really went inside a number of different times as Tracy lets one go.
It will be Groton area ball.
And Hamlin has actually had some numbers, a few different possessions there. Groton a little fortunate that Easton Weber sprinted back and got a piece of that, but Hamlin's been running on this. We got the bigger court there, Craig, you know, extended court.
Travel. This by far the biggest arena that these teams have played in. A lot of them yesterday, you know, they all got a 1 hour of practice time here yesterday, and a lot of them doing a lot of shots as Stevenson will go to the line. Chance for the and one.
And that was great execution right there. Bowden Stevenson looked like he was setting that high pin, slipped right to the front of the rim, and that's a big second foul right there for Gage Sipple, not even through our first quarter.
Well, Bozma with 2 fouls comes off the bench, now back in the game. Six points for Stevenson.
Hamlin just content to stay in this zone again. They really try to match bodies as best they can.
Jack Stormo playing with a plug in the nostril with a bloody nose.
That's going to be Groton's 5th foul of the quarter, so Wadsworth going to be stepping back to that free throw line.
Tracy with the foul.
And we've seen it a bunch that whether it's Wadsworth inside, whether it's Stevenson inside, but they are looking to pound the basketball into him.
Wadsworth and Stevenson certainly drawing a lot of attention this year offensively. Coach Neuendorf says when they play well, the defense is playing well, and they're sharing the basketball.
Yeah, and with this zone, you can see Stevenson operating that middle. I mean, he's taking blocks, but then he'll also take high post.
Well, they tried to go with the lob back door to Zach. With a push on Abraham. His second.
They had drew up that double back screen, pinned the wing defender, and then pinned the middle defender, and they were trying to throw it up to Carson Zach, but defensively, Hamlin was completely locked into it.
Here's Tracy.
Hamlin on a 7-0 scoring run right now over the last 2 minutes.
Wadsworth has not scored a basket yet. Stevenson. Oh, right through the hands of Bozma.
We haven't had a whole lot of opportunities like that where it's an open court and they're going with pace, and it's the right idea there by Groton area, just a little out of the outstretched arms of Bozma.
Oh, tough man-to-man pressure here by Groton area in the front court.
Yeah, and they've actually switched back into a little matchup 2-3.
And it will be last shot time here for Groton area. Hamlin brings in Jaden Olson. Abraham will go out. He's got 2 fouls.
Yeah, they don't want to be able to throw it to Zach on the run.
It's the 4 and the 5 seed going at it in the quarterfinals. The winner gets Sioux Falls Christian tomorrow night in the semis.
It's not just about making a living. It's about upholding a way of life. We are connected to this land, committed to the future. Bank West.
Reading opens every door to learning, opportunity, and understanding. The South Dakota Department of Education is strengthening literacy outcomes for students across our state, helping educators connect classroom instruction to the science of how children learn to read and write. Through professional support and shared resources, schools are building strong foundation in literacy for every learner. South Dakota Department of Education, learning, leadership, service.
Good crowd by the Groton area crew here. Hamlin crew also. Decent crowd today on quarterfinal day of the State A's.
I always love to see the themes, Craig. Looked like we had a little camouflage and maybe a St. Patrick's Day theme.
Backdoor cut, Tracy, no.
Nice execution right there by the Tigers. And Tracy's had a few right at the rim. Just hasn't been able to get one to drop here early.
Hamlin is 3 for 10 from the floor. Wadsworth has not scored a basket yet.
Yeah, both teams right now trying to find themselves offensively. Groton area 3 of 13, 0 of 3 from 3, and Hamlin 3 of 10, 0 of 2 from 3.
Well, defense has been key for both teams so far, and that's the key. Both coaches say they need that defensive play. As Stormo hits a 3.
And Stormo's one of their main shooters from out there. 29 made threes on the year, 33%. More than capable.
That will stay with Groton area.
And Groton, when you combine the 2 quarters, Groton's going on about 5 minutes of game time without a basket here.
Zach, he's got 8.
Yeah, and they badly needed that one.
Stevenson with his first 3. He's number 2 on the team in 3-point shots made.
Almost looked like there was a little confusion on whether Groton was back man or zone, and we're put into scramble mode.
Nice putback, second try. Ryder Johnson gets his first basket. Stormo again. Bozma. Both teams not taking a lot of time, are they? Now they're going to slow her down here for Hamlin.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a grind early, and now we've got some free-flowing action. And you'll never complain with the look that Bozma just had right there. Feet were set, wide open. And you always got to have a high outstretched hand if you're guarding Jackson Wadsworth.
Now Ryder Johnson has been guarding Wadsworth. Up to Tracy. Keegan gets his first basket.
And Wadsworth just took a moment there after that missed shot. Rather than sprinting back, he didn't realize it, and they just threw that thing right over the top for an easy one.
Blocked out by Weber. And a 2-point game.
Powering the possibilities of tomorrow starts today. For our homes, our farms, our businesses. That's why our Touchstone Energy Cooperative continually plans for the future by utilizing and sourcing safe, reliable power for the next generation. So we can power possibilities long into the future. Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, powering possibilities.
On that last play, Easton Weber with the block on Wadsworth. Stormo with the quick release. And for Jack, that is his second trade.
Yeah, it's always a dangerous proposition when you're going to play a bunch of zone versus this Hamlin team, as they just have so many shooters.
Nice assist by Zach over to Kroll, and Ethan got his first bucket.
And Kroll with the impressive hanging 1 foot and goes right into that runner. Now you can see Groton just back to their switching man.
Offensive foul on Wadsworth, and Jackson has picked up his second foul.
Coach Neuendorf is beside himself with that one. I think they just got it. Yeah, I think they thought with that off arm that he was using it to displace that defender.
Ryder Johnson back in for Groton area. Carson Zach getting things rolling with a big dunk early in the first quarter.
You can see them trying to find some space and gaps. They use their 2 big guys to work in those blocks.
Nice move by Sipple. using the basket to get his way there with the easy put in.
Yeah, it was good ball movement there by the Tigers, and Sipple with the easy one, who's both back in. Him and Bozma playing with 2 fouls. Hamlin with Jackson Wadsworth out there.
Johnson for Groton area. Rebound by Abraham.
And Groton still looking for their first 3-point make. 0 of 5 here so far in the first.
Foul on Ryder Johnson of Groton. Johnson's first. In for Groton area, Keegan Tracy.
You can see this Hamlin team, bunch of them getting a quick breather on their knees. They're not an overly deep team. I mean, they ride their starting unit a ton. This Groton team's got some more bodies.
Johnson feeding Tracy. Tigers take the lead. That will be a travel.
Hamlin was trying to get that dribble at. Back cut right there. They quick enter to that high post, and that wing's already flashing, and they executed it pretty well. Stevenson just lost his footing in the paint.
Difference with this team to last year, Coach Kelson says, well, I coached most of these kids in junior high. They were really good defensively last year, but he thinks this year they are a lot better offensively. In fact, shooting 60% from inside the arc, 50% overall. Off the window for Bozma. He'll go to the line.
You can see Zach's athleticism right there. Just created that whole play on the baseline drive. He's got his chin and eyes up, looking for people. You always drift your eyes to that drift spot in the corner. That wasn't there, and he dropped it off to the slash cut.
All 5 starters have scored for Groton area, plus 1 off the bench. Stevenson, Bowden giving Hamlin the bucket.
And Hamlin knows that Groton is switching a lot of their actions right there, so smartly Bowden Stevenson just slipped right to that open area.
Boy, Zach was challenged on that shot. Still got it.
And Carson Zach right now has been big. 9 points, created some offense, only 1 assist, but he's had a couple hockey assists where he creates that advantage.
Stevenson keeping Hamlin close. 30 seconds to go in the half. Less than a second difference, shot clock, game clock. Carson Zach, 10 points here in the first half. Throwing it up is Tracy, and that is the end of the first half. Groton area with the 2-point lead here at the half. Of course, both these clubs members of the Northeast Conference. Greg Kelson, the head coach of Groton area, is with Nate.
Coach, back and forth first half like that, as you'd probably expect coming into this game. What were your thoughts on how your team was attacking that zone offensively?
Well, one, we weren't very patient. You know, we worked on it, and trying to get the ball to high post and make some things happen from there, and we weren't very successful with that. But you know, we got to hit some outside shots, loosen them up a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt. Thoughts on the second real quick?
Oh, it's going to be a battle. Back and forth, both teams switching up defenses a little bit, and whoever makes less mistakes probably going to win.
No doubt. Best of luck this second.
Greg Kelson, the head coach of Groton area, his first year back after being gone 9 years as the head coach.
We aren't meant to be still. And while you determine the direction you'll go, we're just here to help you along the way. So go. Go with experience. Go with teamwork. Go with neighbors. Go with integrity.
You hear about work-life balance like it's a big equation you have to find the answer to. But I think it's much simpler than that. So simple it was right in front of us. Start with the life you want, and everything else will follow.
At Southeast Technical College, you won't just study for a career, you'll live it. Training in classrooms that look, feel, and operate just like the real world. Because the best way to do what you learn is to learn by doing. Get your degree, get to work at Southeast Technical College.
Halftime, Groton area leading Hamlin in our second quarterfinal matchup of the day. After defeating Pine Ridge 62-54 in the Sodak 16, the Groton area Tigers advanced to the state tournament here, and we caught up with senior Ryder Johnson on the mentality it takes to get to this moment.
You gotta earn it. You gotta earn it. We knew nothing was going to be given. A bunch of great teams, and we had a really tough schedule this year. So we had to go to practice every day, work hard, come out and earn every game that we got, and then win a big Sodak game to make it here. Oh, great guys. I mean, I grew up with all of them, been playing basketball through 5 of them since I was in like kindergarten, as soon as I picked up a ball. So I mean, playing with them, making it back to 3 state tournaments with them, memories, hotel room, being on the court, getting in yelling matches at practice, doesn't happen very often, but sometimes you get a few arguments. I mean, I wouldn't change any of it. It's a great group of guys. Love them all. It's amazing. I mean, it's something some people can only dream of. So making it back, or just making it once, it's a dream come true. It's something every basketball player dreams of, in my opinion. And when you finally make it, you get to go out and practice the day before the tournament starts, then being on the court with all those fans watching your town, the other opponents. It's a surreal feeling.
It is the third straight year for Groton area making it to the state tournament, the 12th overall. Ryder, by the way, has scored over 1,100 points in his career, but his dad, JR, he played under Coach Kelson. Both played in a State A tournament. JR, by the way, is the all-time leading scorer, so Dad has the bragging rights right now. 26-24, our halftime score. Some stats and highlights when we come back.
South Dakota, a state shaped by its people. It's more than a place, it's opportunity waiting to be realized. At South Dakota State University, opportunity is turned into progress. Through research, education, and a community that inspires, SDSU drives the future of this state. We're not just here, we're taking action with purpose, trust, and impact. This is SD State.
Are Peterson reps real-life seed heroes? Well, they've been known to go the extra mile. Literally thousands of extra miles every year. And when they're not driving gravel roads, they're out walking fields and sampling soil. When time is the enemy, they're there to save what's left of the day. Are all Peterson reps seed heroes? I guess that's a yes. Peterson, we're that kind of seed company.
For your little ones and your biggest joys. Or your forever friends. And your fur kids, too. For your better half. Or your all-time bestie. For the reasons you smile, there's coverage. With dental and vision insurance from Delta Dental of South Dakota and Delta Vision.
Nothing has embodied the American spirit like the family farmer. Year after year, they continue to work the land and plant their crops. Through droughts, floods, and uncertain markets, they keep that spirit alive with another crop harvested for the next generation. And for that, we tip our hats to them. Farmers Union Insurance, protecting those that protect America's food source.
In the first half, at the end of the first quarter, Hamlin led Groton area by 2. But then Groton area outscores Hamlin by 4 in the second half.
And 6 guys right now in the scoring column for the Tigers, led by Carson Zach with 9, Gage Sipple, 6 big ones, Keegan Tracy with 4, and a couple others chipping in. And then Hamlin Chargers right now, Jackson Wadsworth, their leading scorer, 0 of 5 from the floor, has knocked down a couple free throws, but they're being led right now by their second leading scorer, Bowden Stevenson, with 11, 4 of 6 from the floor. And then Jack Stormo hit those 2 big threes. He's got a total of 8 here so far in the first.
Score's been tied 4 times. We've had 3 lead changes. Groton area's biggest lead has been 5. Hamlin's biggest lead has been 6.
And both teams right now playing pretty clean, taking care of the basketball. Only 3 and 6 turnovers. You feel like Groton, especially if Hamlin's going to stick with his zone, as Coach Kelson said, you feel like they're going to need to make some outside shots. Only 0 of 6 right now from 3. And if they can start knocking down some of those, might loosen some stuff up on the interior for themselves.
SDPB's coverage of high school sports and activities is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you. Contribution today helps support the broadcast of events like the basketball championships. Make a donation today by visiting sdpb.org/donate. And we appreciate your support. What do you suppose Coach Neuendorf telling his team here as we start the second half?
They gotta keep the Groton area. They gotta keep them off the glass. They got some second opportunities that way. Finish around the rim. They've gotten the basketball a bunch inside, but they need to capitalize that. And then he's got to get his star player, Jackson Wadsworth, got to get him going from the floor.
There's Jackson. Whoa. Almost a shot to the chin there for Johnson. Stevenson. 15 for Bowdoin.
Yeah, and he's just risen up over the top a couple times, and that's what happens when you got 6'5" in length. That was actually fairly well defended.
It is our 5th tie of the game. Groton area with the numbers. Oh, nice defense by Wadsworth. Instead of going up to challenge, you know, he had his hand right at the waist when the ball is coming up, and that's how it got knocked out.
Yeah, Ryder Johnson dropped that thing down as he was trying to rise up. For us little people, that could strip the basketball. And you can see they really like to use Jackson Wadsworth as a screener first.
That's Heinrich, his first basket.
Yeah, the freshman catching one and rising up with the easy finish. And that was all created by that drive from Wadsworth.
Catch by Sipple.
Tried to execute against that zone and pin that middle. They got the ball to Sipple where they wanted to, just strong on the finish.
There's Jackson Wadsworth with his first basket of the game.
Yeah, and when you get in a game like this, that's probably going to be a little lower scoring, and both teams are taking time, that you want to keep it within striking distance. If it gets stretched out, a 10-point deficit in a game like this.
That's Zach. And Carson, he's got 11.
And sometimes you just need players to make plays like that. Wasn't probably a great offensive possession, but bailed them out.
Up tempo here. Oh, what a pass to Sipple. Sipple with 8 points. Great assist.
Another nice find by number 3, Zach. You can see him switching back defenses to the 2-3.
Wadsworth. His first tray, he's got 8 points.
And they've ran that same action a few times where they run him to that strong side corner, pin in the wing of the zone.
Stevenson thought he had the clean block. Zach going to the line when we come back.
Creating a legacy means different things to everyone. For us, it's about family, watching my daughter follow in my footsteps, passing the farm under her, and working side by side every day. It's about building something that lasts. Agtegra Cooperative has been by our side through it all, supporting us from one generation to the next. Agtegra Cooperative, legacy rich, future focused for generations to come.
Carson Zach at the line. He's 1 for 1 from the line.
2 shots.
Yeah, and Zach on the year just shy of 68% from the foul line, 36 of 54 coming into the tournament.
A dozen for Zach, right at his average.
Yeah, you can just see the amount of everything's generally some type of set play, and there they tried to add a couple back screens, but they're getting a lot of the switches.
The block was by Zach. The kick to Abraham. Aiden gets his first 3. He is the 4th Hamlin Charger to hit a 3 today.
And that's been the difference so far in the game, and why they have a 5-point lead. 4 of 11 from 3 compared to 0 of 7 on the other side. Make that 0 of 8.
Sipple with the rebound and the feed to Tracy.
Right now, Hamlin shooting 62% here this half, really executing offensively.
Jump ball. In for Groton area is Easton Weber. Yeah, both teams have not gone fairly deep on the bench there, Nate.
Yeah, Groton has played just 7, and Easton Weber gave him some good minutes in that first half as he checks back in. And then Ethan Kroll, a couple minutes, but then on the other side, basically playing 5 guys. They had checked Jaden Olson in for a brief minute.
Sipple. Dead bodies on him, and they're able to use it. Score.
It's a nice interior passing there.
Count it.
You can just see the strength of Jackson Wadsworth. Deceptively a quicker guy, and the other thing that just makes him really dangerous off the dribble is you got to guard him so tightly. He doesn't have it rolling from 3 here, but everyone knows he shoots it at such a high clip that you're always up there, and he can use that to his advantage, and he's strong enough to be able to drive through any type of contact. Trying to run a little Princeton action.
Zach. He's got 14 and a timeout. Zach with 14 points for Groton area.
Since 1882, we've raised 5 generations of hardworking Americans on this land. Our great-great-grandfather believed in something simple: respect the land and it will provide. Anthem Oats, grown by us, shared with you.
Your Great Plains Case IH dealers know that hard work starts early, in the field and on the field or the court. Dedication, teamwork, pride, the values driving farmers also power South Dakota athletes. Growing crops or growing champions, it takes the same drive to succeed. Your local Great Plains Case IH dealers know the future is built by showing up day after day, ready to work, ready to win. Great Plains Case IH dealers, supporting schools, athletes, and the communities we grow.
We've had 6 ties in the game. Groton area's biggest lead has been 5. Hamlin's biggest lead, 6. I don't expect things to change much here the rest of the way. Two really close matched teams.
Yeah, some back and forth action. They tried to run that same slip play that they got in the first half.
Oh, ouch. Oh, Ryder Johnson went down hard, hitting his head. I think they're going to need to look at him. That was a, oh, Ryder picks up the foul and takes a really hard fall with his back of his head. You'll be able to see here. Yeah.
Yeah, when you,
he's going to stay in the game.
Yeah, when you land on your back there and you get that whiplash going back.
Yep, they're going to check Ryder. They bring the training staff out, and the officials want Ryder to be checked. You know, that's a great idea. It really is.
Yeah, no. Anytime you're working with anything head related, Craig, as everyone nowadays knows, it's something to take very, very seriously. It's not like the olden days where you get a little stinger and jump back in there.
Oh, Stevenson can't believe he airballed that. Oh, and the Groton fans letting him know. Oh. Rebound by Bozma. Groton area has scored 11 points here in this third quarter.
Yeah, and that's only their fourth turnover of the game. They've really been sure with the ball, and there's kind of a sloppy one by Carson Zach.
And Weber, has he picked up his third? Easton Weber picking up the foul. And Wadsworth at the line for two.
Two free throws for Jackson
Yeah,
Wadsworth.
Keegan Tracy was doing a pretty good job trying to just ride that shoulder into the chest, but Weber came over from that gap position and got the rake on the arm. And
13 for
yeah,
Wadsworth.
and he's just not a guy that you want to send to the foul line. 6 to 7 on the day, shooting over 80%. You can see the activity from Hanlon. A couple deflections created that last turnover.
The first tray by Zach. He's got 18. Stevenson. Swatted by Bozma.
And Stevenson tried to get him up in the air initially, and Bozma did a nice job staying on his feet and making sure he's the second jumper. That's what you always want to see, interior defense.
That's the fourth block of the day by Groton area. Wadsworth guarded by Bozma. And Wadsworth will go to the line, and Bozma's picked up his third.
And Bozma thought he was pretty straight up right there, but they got him, I think, with that body contact going in. And those plays where you get those up and under plays, some of the hardest ones to officiate, because there's going to be contact.
That's a rarity. An 84% free throw shooter, missing both.
I think I jinxed him. Put the announcer jinx on him before when I was saying.
Oh, trying to go through traffic. Weber! Oh, his biggest basket of the game at the end of the quarter.
Educators across South Dakota are coming together to elevate, educate, and empower. This June, the Department of Education hosts the South Dakota Literacy Conference in Mitchell, a gathering dedicated to advancing the science of reading and sharing new insights into how students learn, exploring research and real-world strategies for South Dakota educators to move literacy forward for all learners. South Dakota Department of Education, learning, leadership, service.
Protecting crops. Agronomy Plus in Mitchell, Rock Creek in Howard, and Valley Station at Armour provide agronomy services, fertilizer products, and crop analysis systems, including Agronomy 365. This system helps manage your field's performance, supporting small-town communities while hiring and training local youth. Agronomy Plus in Mitchell, Rock Creek in Howard, and Valley Station in Armour, serving area producers and their communities.
Welcome back to Rapid City, the site of the Class A boys basketball tournament. Groton area getting a big three by Easton Weber to end the quarter. Have some trivia for you. State tournament record for most three-point shots made in one game. State tournament record for most three-point shots made in one game. We'll have the answer coming up.
Probably a lot. Probably a lot. Is it double figures? That's the question. Got to be double figures.
Here's Stevenson. He's had a big game. Oh! Stayed with it. He's got 17.
Yeah, and we've seen that twice from him when he's gobbled up his own miss there.
Quick inside the Sipple. That one was blocked. Deflected.
And to end that quarter, Groton finally hit their first 2 threes of the game. Carson Zach stepped up big. Easton Weber hit that. There, Ryder Johnson just had that look deflected.
Wadsworth with his second three of the game.
Looks like he just kind of shed that defender. Carson Zach was trying to stay with him.
Johnson back in the game. Good to see him back in after hitting his head in the third quarter. Rebound by Trig Heinrich. Do you know where Trig Heinrich was last year? Trig Heinrich was the ball boy last year as an 8th grader, and now he's a starter for a Hamlin area.
60-second.
You know, defense wins championships. We spoke with senior Jackson Wadsworth on leading a new generation of Chargers to the State A tournament.
Defense is the biggest thing. We got to shut them down on defense. We got to get easy baskets first. Obviously, don't rely on the three-point line. Nobody shoots good at the state tournament. It's got to come in easy baskets, and defense wins championships. So I was kind of more of a role player last year. Now I'm kind of the leader of the group, I guess, and kind of stepping into a bigger role. Don't have the other older guys to count on. I kind of have to be the guy that they go to at the end of the game and stuff like that. But just bringing the younger kids up and having them ready for the big moments. Team strategy, I guess, is take it game by game. Can't get to the night session if you don't win the first game. You can't get the championship if you don't win that game. Just focus on the team in front of you. Don't take anything for granted, and just play your heart out.
Jackson Wadsworth had 3 points in the first half. He now has 16.
Really stepped up. 2 big threes. Got himself going at the rim, and obviously a bunch of trips to the foul line. Right now, 6 of 9 from the charity stripe. And he mentioned it in the clip. When it's winning time, they go to him.
Lob too far to Stevenson. Zach with 17 points, resetting the offense.
Yeah, and just this Hamlin team has stuck with this zone. Started off just a couple possessions, man-to-man, and then
Weber in trouble. Johnson. Ryder with his second basket of the game, his first three.
In a big one to knot this thing up at 46, and Ryder only 2 of 11 for the game, but a huge one there.
Abraham with his second three. He's got 8.
We call that the answer right there. 3 on one end, 3 on the other.
Weber. Oh, Weber doing what he did at the end of the third quarter. Oh, I think the last 4 shots have all been threes. And Wadsworth.
Things are really opening up for the offenses right now. Both teams now shooting over 50% on the game.
Nice feed to Sipple, and Sipple is going to go to the line when we come back. We have had 7 ties in this game as we're halfway through the final period.
I can't imagine being anything other than a nurse. I'm also much more than a nurse. And working at Avera lets me find balance between the career that called me and a life that fulfills me.
Greg Kelson, the head coach, Grotneri is on your right. Todd Neuendorf from Hamlin is on your left. 2 longtime coaches with 2 good programs.
No question. It looked like one of Todd's assistants there, one Easton Neuendorf, not far removed from being in this situation at Dakota Wesleyan as Sipple knocks down his first one. Easton's pulling double duty. College student, college player, assistant coach.
Well, Easton was the one that was basically running the show for Hamlin, and this year they had to move Wadsworth to that position. Sipple coming out. Gage with a dozen in the game.
Yeah, and a couple big free throws to get this back evened up.
8th tie of the game.
See Hamlin really try to isolate those switches.
Ten to shoot. Stevenson hits it calmly.
And after a pretty good defensive possession right there from Groton, it's just enough space.
These 2 teams played back on December 12th. 55-50 was the win for Groton area. Oh, that is going to be a foul on Wadsworth. And for Jackson, that's his 3rd.
both teams right now as we come down the stretch. Nobody with 4 fouls. A couple guys with 3 in Bozema and Easton Weber, and then, as you mentioned, Wadsworth picking up his 3rd, and Stevenson as well.
First trip to the line in the game for Keegan. Seven points for Tracy.
The game just gets shortened up because both groups are running some longer possessions. So every possession, every point is vital.
Stevenson. Abraham. 24 rebounds by Groton area. Weber, his 3rd beyond the arc.
3 of 3 for the game, 3 of 3 for 3. Both teams got a stable of timeouts right now here coming down the stretch.
Oh! That's his 3rd, Trey Stevenson. Carrying Hamlin on his shoulders today.
Normally you don't know how teams are gonna shoot in a different environment, different facility, but both of them got it rolling right now.
Ten to shoot. Zach against Wadsworth. Wadsworth with his 4th foul. Zach being aggressive to the rack.
And you always talk about wanting to play strong and play off 2 feet, and that was a great job of Carson Zach right there. Coming to that outside-inside stop.
Our 9th tie of the game. 90 seconds here to go. I'm surprised neither team has taken much for timeouts here in the last couple of minutes. Just letting them play. And Stevenson is fouled. The foul on Bozema, his 4th.
And as they've done much of this game, got Stevenson right on that block area. Wadsworth been in there a ton as he calmly knocks down the first one. Stevenson was only 2 of 5 before that last trip from the foul line.
Hamlin with a big defensive recovery and a timeout by Hamlin. We told you a few minutes ago.
30-second timeout.
The state tournament record for most 3-point shots made in a game. This is a record that has been around a long time. Who has that record? Gotta go to Groton area. Groton at the time. Travis Traphagen, now the University of Sioux Falls women's basketball coach.
I don't believe it, Craig. I don't know it. No way. Trap 9? 9 of them in a game?
Coach Kelson was his coach.
Oh, I don't believe it. That was when the line had to have been closer back then. No? Was it at 17 feet back then? Oh, no.
Coach Traphagen did tell me to say hi to Coach Kelson and asked him if he wanted Trap to make a defensive stop, and he laughed very loud.
Trout probably, knowing him, he's not even tuning into this. He's on the trail recruiting someplace. So we can say whatever we want. He's never going to hear it, Craig.
Well, Coach Kelson, 29 years at Groton area, then was off for 9 years, retired, and then came back this year to be the head coach again.
Yeah, you have a situation now, up 1. You got a full shot clock. I would expect them to really try to shorten this game up, and they've tried to get Wadsworth multiple times in some back cut opportunities.
The foul on Zach, his first.
And that's only going to be their second team foul, so they still got 2 more to give. So you can look to be really aggressive in these situations.
Good matchup here with Johnson and Stevenson. Ryder picks up his 3rd foul.
You just also got to know that every time you're doing that, the shot clock is reset. So as this clock whittles down, and they got a full 35 every time you're fouling.
Timeout, Groton area.
Timeout, Groton area.
It looked like in that first situation where they were trying to trap and be really aggressive. I'm not sure if Coach Kelson was really wanting a foul in that situation right there. At some point in time, you just want to sit down and try to defend and get a stop, because you got plenty of time to get another possession.
With 4 fouls. Groton area has Bozema with 4 fouls. Everybody else 3 or less. Oh, nice. Oh, Stevenson lost the ball. That last touch by Groton area.
Tried to run a little blind pig action right there. Flash him to the high post, and that top guy's already cutting on the airtime of that pass.
Timeout taken by Hamlin. Both teams have plenty. Both timeout. See, 2 left for Hamlin, 3 for Groton area.
And Coach Neuendorf recognized they were switching that strong side action and didn't even want to get close to that 3 or 4 or 5 count and make a bad decision and turn this over on an underneath out of bounds like that. Just got both groups right now. Hamlin, 6 of their last 7 from the floor. Groton, 4 of their last 4.
Stormo inbounding for Hamlin. Johnson guarding Wadsworth.
Like he's maybe just flattening out, or
Tracy on Stevenson. 10 to shoot. Oh, what a shot under pressure. Off the window, and a timeout, Groton area. Carson Zach with a big basket the other way.
And Carson Zach's trying to do whatever he can to have this group hang around 21. But what more can you say about Bowden Stevenson? 4 of 5 from 3 with 2 gigantic ones down the stretch. Up
His
to
last
25
3 shots,
points.
yeah, his last 3 shots have been beyond the arc. No. And then the other way, it's Zach.
Yeah, and you still, if you're Coach Kelson and they're talking, you still have 1 foul to give before they're in the bonus. So you can be super aggressive. You probably want to try to create a turnover even off the inbounds in this situation. I would expect him to be up, pressing in the full court, maybe try to get 1 quick trapping opportunity, and then at that point in time, you're gonna have to foul and then give yourself a chance to do that same thing again.
If you're Groton area, or if you're Hamlin, talk to Hamlin, you want to take last shot. You want to hopefully run the clock.
Yeah, and they won't. Groton will have to foul with the shot clock off.
Yeah, they don't
you
want
wanna,
the shot to go down.
Yeah. For Hamlin, it's taking care of the basketball, getting it in the people's hands that you want. And right now, that's Jackson Wadsworth is the main one. Stevenson, for how on fire he is, he's only 3 of 7 from the foul line.
If you're Groton area, you really don't want to foul Stevenson or Wadsworth because they're the good free throw shooters. Although Stevenson is a 51% shooter.
Yeah, he just seems to absolutely have it rolling right now.
Now the next foul by Groton area will put Hamlin on the free throw line. And they do it right away. And Wadsworth, 84% free throw shooter. What is he, 6 of 9 in the game?
Yeah, you got the basketball in the guy's hands that you wanted here. Got an opportunity to make this a 2-possession game if he knocks both down.
Jackson has missed his last 3 free throws.
And they gave up a free throw offensive rebound on the last one. So even on the miss, you got to secure.
Timeout, Hamlin. A 1-possession game.
And you still do have time here to take a quick deuce if you want to. Get it up the court and then set your defense. Now Groton didn't have a ton of success of being able to defend underneath out of bounds or the press break of Hamlin. So it'll be interesting to see what Coach Kelson elects to do here, whether he tries to get a quick 2 or whether they go for the tie immediately.
Groton did not hit a 3-point basket in the first half. They have 5 in the second half. And now Easton Weber in the game. He's 3 for 3 from 3-point land. Carson Zach has 1. Ryder Johnson has 1.
And defensively, you absolutely cannot give up a 3, and you don't want to foul around the rim.
Carson got it in a timeout by Groton area. 23 points for Zach.
And that was pretty well defended right there by Aiden Abraham. Zach just goes over the top for his 23rd point of the game. So it's going to be the same situation. You want to try to deny this inbounds pass as much as you can. They switched that last action. Previous time they were underneath here, but looking to create a turnover. And then at this point in time, if they get it in, you gotta take an immediate foul to give yourself time. And then even if they make both on the other end, it's still only a one-possession game. You give yourself a chance. Then you get in situations where if Hamlin's up 3, do they even allow you to get to a 3, a foul or defend type situation? Some people will foul in those. I'm getting ahead of myself though, Craig.
Well, the coaches are thinking about it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised even if they try to get something going long, and then that screening action the last time was in between Wadsworth and Stevenson.
Stevenson, less than a second, one off the clock. Well, Stevenson, 3 for 7. 3 for 7 from the free throw line.
And you mentioned it, even on the year, it's only 51%.
$25 points on the game. Oh!
Groton still does have one timeout. Oh, they tried to get Sipple in the game.
Whoa, right into the hands of Hamlin. Oh, what a great bounce they got.
And you heard the Groton coaching staff just screaming to box out, and that miss was so short that it was hard for them to come up with.
Well, whether Wadsworth makes this or not, it's still a one-possession game. And Groton area is still with one timeout left. Two-point game. Oh, right into the hands of Hamlin. 2 big offensive rebounds. Treg Heinrich, who was the ball boy on this team a year ago.
And even when you look at the fourth quarter alone, that's 3 free throw offensive rebounds. You talk about those little details, those small things help you win championships.
What a game for Hamlin. The Hamlin Chargers will advance to the semifinals. 65-61. Couple of unbelievable offensive rebounds on the free throw lane for Hamlin. And they hit free throws, and they'll win this game by 4. And Hamlin will move on to the semifinals tomorrow night to face a familiar foe, team that they have faced in the finals the last 2 years, the Sioux Falls Christian Chargers. So it'll be the Chargers and the Chargers coming up tomorrow night.
The Class A Boys State Final Championships.
And Todd Neuendorf, the head coach at Hamlin, is with Nate.
What a game there, Coach. Back and forth. Talk about Bowden Stevenson, especially down the stretch.
Yeah, Bowden's really played well coming down the stretch of our year, and he spent a lot of time working on his perimeter shot. He was a mid-range guy, a slasher, and he's really stretched his range, and credit to him, but a credit to all our kids. We didn't sub, we played with 5, so we're gonna have to figure that out because it's not gonna be sustainable for 3 days. But it was we had to stay with the group we had.
You talked about it. You guys are no stranger to a semifinal night. I know you know who you're going to be facing. What's going to be the message to your team going into tomorrow?
Well, you can sleep in the morning. That's what we're going to tell them. That's the first thing. And our goal is this. We told the guys before they left the locker room, we have goals as we get here. The first one is you got to get to the night session. Okay, and so we've done that. And now, we know we're playing. We think that Sioux Falls Christian and West Central are in the field up here, and we think the rest of us are maybe down a notch down. We know that, but we're going to come play, and we are excited for the opportunity, and graduating 4 starters and coming back. The Heinrich kid who played for us was a ball boy as an 8th grader for us last night, and he's starting. So, we're gonna enjoy this a little bit, get ready. We know we got a tall task in front of us, but better than the alternative.
No doubt. Congrats on the win. Go enjoy it with your group.
All right, thanks.
Oh, what a game. Is Hamlin putting the sticker on the semifinals for tomorrow night.
It's not just about making a living. It's about upholding a way of life. We are connected to this land, committed to the future. Bank West.
Powering the possibilities of tomorrow starts today. For our homes, our farms, our businesses. That's why our Touchstone Energy Cooperative continually plans for the future by utilizing and sourcing safe, reliable power for the next generation. So we can power possibilities long into the future. Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, powering possibilities.
South Dakota, a state shaped by its people. It's more than a place, it's opportunity waiting to be realized. At South Dakota State University, opportunity is turned into progress. Through research, education, and a community that inspires, SDSU drives the future of this state. We're not just here, we're taking action with purpose, trust, and impact. This is SD State.
Bioethanol supplies more than just energy. It creates jobs in rural communities. It drives demand for local corn. It provides opportunities for family farms to thrive. To ensure agriculture plays a leading role in the efforts to decarbonize and transition energy, bioethanol remains at the forefront of a pursuit for a cleaner, brighter future for all Americans. Learn how at sdethanol.com.
What a game. Our second quarterfinal of the day. Groton area led by 2 at the end of the first quarter. It was Hamlin down by 2 at the half. Groton area led by 2 at the end of the third quarter. And it came down to some free throws and big baskets for Hamlin for them to come away with the win.
Their two-headed monster had it rolling here this afternoon. Bowden Stevenson, 27 points on 9 of 14 from the floor. Jackson Wadsworth, 17 big ones in the second half. Only had 3 at halftime, finished with 20. Both of them right around those season averages, and in Bowden's case exceeded it. And you can see Carson Zach on the replay, tried to do whatever he could for the Tigers. 10 and 12 from the floor, 23 points. Only other person in double figures for them was Gage Sipple, and Ryder Johnson, their leading scorer, coming in. Quiet evening, 2 of 11 from the floor, only 5 points.
11 times the score was tied. We had 8 lead changes in this one. Hamlin goes to the semifinals.
In a well-played game, you can see only 4 turnovers, 7 turnovers. Both units shot above 50% from the floor. They both got her rolling from three in that second half. Just a very cleanly played game.
We'll wrap things up when we come back.
You live life on the move. While you determine what direction that may be, we're here to help along the way. So go. Go with values. Go with friends. Go with support. Go with convenience.
At Muth Electric, we don't just power projects, we empower people. We invest in training, mentorship, and career development opportunities at every level. Because strong careers build strong communities. Your future is bright with Muth Electric. Muth Electric now hiring.
Lake Area Technical College provides hands-on learning and practical experience in real-world environments. Prepare for a career right out of school from the moment you step on campus for an education that can really be put to work. Lake Area Tech is the start of something new.
Is it the competition that keeps bringing you back? The long-standing rivalries? Or is it seeing friends again and cheering on your favorite team? At First Dakota, we're here for all of it. We appreciate the fans, the players, the coaches and officials, the concessions crew. The shared community experience is part of what makes life here great. And we're here for all of it. See you at the game.
Our first quarterfinal session is in the books as we saw a very dominant #1 seed today in Sioux Falls Christian, and we saw a typical 4-5 seed. It was a battle to the end.
Yeah, games went about as we probably expected, Craig. You saw how potent that Sioux Falls Christian offense can be, and in our second one, just a back and forth affair that, goodness gracious, Bowden Stevenson making some huge plays down the stretch, and then those free throw offensive rebounds are what sealed it for the Chargers.
Here's what's coming up tonight. 6 o'clock Central, 5 Mountain. The undefeated West Central Trojans takes on Cheyenne Eagle Butte. And then it's Clark Willow Lake and Stanley County. We look forward to seeing you when we get back together here in Rapid City. For Nate Kading and the men and women of SDPB, I'm Craig Maddox. So long from Rapid City.